In today's episode, I want to talk about how to prevent mental burnout. Hi friends, Daz here again, and thank you so much for coming back. I love to see all your little faces out there, it really means a lot to me. Now I make daily, in brackets, unless I miss some, videos on mental health, personal development, and kind of everything in between really, to help you change your mind to change your life. So my big question today is how to prevent mental burnout. Now, not a fun thing to have at all.
No sir, I don't like it.
I don't know if you've experienced this yourself. I definitely have, one or many times really, but it's something that can easily happen to you. So today's video is about how to avoid mental burnout. So firstly, let's get on to what can cause this. You know, what is the actual reason you can have mental burnout?
We just don't know, we don't know.
Now, as I said, I've dealt with this a number of times, and so I'm all too familiar with those feelings of just emptiness and just exhaustion and just almost like brain fog, and you just sort of can't do anything really, and it's just horrible. Now, it seems to have come out of the blue completely and just hit you like a sledgehammer, and you're like,
Wow, what's happened here? I was feeling great, my life was good.
and then suddenly you've got this brain fog and just this sort of tiredness and just exhaustion and just can't think straight, and this emptiness and all this kind of horrible mental, obviously, problems, and like just, but literally out of nowhere. What is the cause of it? Now, there are possibly many causes, to be fair. You know, I'm not a doctor, surprisingly, even though Dad's hands probably heal everything. As cheesy as that was. Gotta do it. Thank you, Gemma. Finding out a cause and what is behind it is one huge thing. Now, something I've looked into and found and realised for myself really was one of the hugest causes of this is something that I think you'll be quite surprised at.
I'm not retarded.
Firstly, let us start with one of the major causes of mental burnout. Now, it's something I've spoken about probably many times, but it's such an important thing that I feel I need to, have to, must talk about it again. I'm of course talking about living inauthentically. As in, that's a bad thing, not promoting to live inauthentically, because that would just be ridiculous. Living an inauthentic life is one of the major causes of mental burnout. So let me get into the meat and gravy, or if you're a vegan, gravy. Sorry. And kind of get to the details of this.
Are you ready?
Okay, here we go. These days you are so easily influenced by so many things just in the world. Social media one, just general marketing, TV, cinema, magazines, newspapers, everything. There's so many influences on us, and that's purposeful because it's marketing, it's to sell us something or to get us thinking in a certain way. So we're just influenced by so many different things. Often it's subconscious, so we don't go,
oh, okay, I've been influenced by that thing.
no, you don't know it, because the psychology behind the ad or the marketing is clever, and that's the whole point of it, that it sort of influences you to do something, to make a purchase or think a certain way, without you necessarily being aware of the fact that you've been sort of manipulated.
Oh yeah.
In itself, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but what the real problem is gradually you start to slightly embellish your life. Perhaps an obvious example of this is Instagram, where you use Facetune on the pictures and Photoshop pictures to make yourself look taller, thinner, more tanned, less pimples, whatever it may be. That's a real obvious example that everybody knows about. The idea of this whole thing, it goes a bit further than that, because it's not just about looking sort of better on your Instagram pictures. It's that embellishment of your life away from the reality. And it's often said, you know, you look at people on social media and they're sort of living this great lifestyle, but you know, you're only seeing what they're posting. You don't necessarily know the reality behind it. And that, unfortunately, is true. What we tend to do is gradually slightly embellish things. So maybe a little bit of Facetune on the picture, fine. Or just a slight exaggeration of how good the night was the night before. And these small embellishments over time become sort of normal, become standard, and it resets your normal. So therefore, whatever you're doing, you exaggerate it, because it obviously sounds like a much better night out, holiday, music festival, whatever that is, but you're just slightly exaggerating, slightly embellishing more and more and more. And it becomes normal, it becomes your sort of default position. And it's not just online, it's also just with people you speak to, people at work, friends, family, whoever. You get into this habit of, let's call it Instagramming your life, but when you're talking. So when you're talking about your holiday, it was an amazing holiday and you did this and did that, and who knows, nobody knows because they weren't there, but you've just added on a few different things and exaggerated a few things. And this goes on and becomes, as I said, your new default level is that slight exaggeration, almost said Instagramming or photoshopping your life as you're telling people about stuff.
Everything is awesome.
And so this just goes on and goes on.
Many unbearable hours later.
To other people, you're living this perfect life, or at least this great life, because of how you're embellishing, say not just pictures, but what you do, stories, your relationship, whatever it may be. It's all sort of tweaked and tuned to make it sound better, to make it sound more Instagram worthy, for want of a better phrase. You're kind of photoshopping your life, because also that's what everyone else does. So if you don't do that, you stand out from not being as good as other people. And I know it's the worst thing to compare yourself to other people and all that jazz, but it's human nature. We can't help but compare ourselves with other people. And if other people who we feel are our peers are leading this kind of better life than us, we're going to start to sort of embellish things so we sort of fit in. Again, we're tribal, I've spoken about this before, and we like to fit in with the crowd. So if everyone else is having this sort of amazing time, but when you tell them that your relationship is really amazing, you're on the same level as them, even though you don't know that they're embellishing theirs for other people, etc. So this is kind of falseness and then this photoshopped life that's going on without anyone really being aware of it. It just gradually increases. You've stopped having any sort of problems with money, work, relationships, anything at all, because you've got this perfect life to a degree and everything is just amazing. However, it's actually not. Your life is exactly as it actually really is and should be. It's not been photoshopped up here and amazing. It's where it is and it's happening as it's happening. And this is where the problem fundamentally starts. You're living two lives. The real life, that's behind closed doors, you at home, that's the real life, the real you.
Keep it secret.
And then there's this public life. I said not just online or social media, but just generally with people, what you tell people in work you're doing and things like that. You've got this double life basically. And I'll be honest with you, it's f***ing exhausting because you are literally living two different lives. And where the problem gets worse is because you haven't noticed really of doing this. It's just become normal, it's become your life. So you've got your normal standard life that you're leading, but then whenever you do anything that involves other people, it's almost then that you turn on the Photoshop switch, and then whether it's posting on online, Instagram, Facebook or whatever, or speaking to people in person, that naturally gets embellished. But you're living this duality, you're living this double life, and this is why it's so f***ing exhausting. Now let me know in the comments below if you've ever been aware of yourself living this sort of false life, or at least this facade or something like that. Leave a comment below because it's a tricky situation to find yourself in to then manage. Now I have another video up here that sort of talks about this slightly differently, but more about being authentic. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe, which also lets me know that you like this content so I can make more of it for you. So this double life that you're leading just continues because, as I said, you don't really know it's happening. You're not really aware of this double life. That's normal. You're just living your normal life, let's say at home behind closed doors, and then when you're public, then you've got this other front. And it's become so normal that you said you're not aware of it.
Don't let them in, don't let them see.
And then eventually you start feeling the effects. Without even knowing why, you start to feel irritable, tired, just unhappy, and all manner of feelings which basically indicate that you're suffering from mental burnout. And in the most severe cases, you can be suffering from really serious depression. Now, I can see how this may seem like an impossible situation to get out of, because really, this pretty much happens to everyone to a certain degree. You know, we all, and have all at some point done, a slight exaggeration here and there, and you come back from holiday and it's just rained the whole week. People are like, how was your holiday? Like, it was amazing, sunny, gorgeous, because yeah, you don't want to say you had a crappy holiday. So we all have done it and do it to a certain degree, and not everyone's situation will get to the point where they're suffering from mental burnout. But as you never really know it's happening, it's better to look at ways of changing things before you hit that wall and you get that mental burnout and that horrible feeling.
So what's the answer, Daz? What can I do to prevent this horrible mental burnout?
I don't know.
Well, whilst the answer is very, very simple, it's also not that easy to do. However, with some practice and just being aware of it and being sort of conscious of what you're saying and what you're doing, you can easily make the necessary changes, and as an odd, weird side effect, you will feel amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's bizarre as a side effect, how good you will feel. So all you need to do is literally be 100% yourself, 100% authentic, and 100% honest at all times. And I mean all times, not just when you feel like it or when it just no, all times. Absolutely no about anything at all. Now, of course, I'm not talking about jokes and winding people up and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about serious things or just life, everything like that. You know, we can all joke about and that's fine, but just be 100% honest, authentic, and true to yourself at all times. That's it. That is the magic Daz Hands answer. Be honest and open about who you are. Be honest and open about what you are. And be honest and open about where you are. And be humble and grateful for everything that you have. This doesn't mean you should settle. That's the subject of a whole different video which I'll make soon, because that's a massive subject that I'm very passionate about. But it's not about settling, it's just being grateful and humble about what you already have, and being honest and true about who you are. Simple as that. You can still have goals and dreams and aspirations to do great things, that's all fine. But be honest and true about who you are and what you're doing.
Yes, sir, I like it.
Now, you'll actually be amazed at how people react to you when you're being open and honest. At first, to be fair, it does freak people out a bit. They're a bit... because unfortunately it's so rare. People aren't open and honest. There's a lot of basically. But ultimately people will warm to you because they know where they stand with you, they know how you're feeling, what's going on with you, where you are, and they can trust you. You'll start to glow with charisma because you're just the person who stand out by being honest, true, have loads of integrity. And so you'll just be glowing with charisma because it's such a rare trait that you must, glow. It's amazing. And speaking personally, it's one of the most amazing things that I've done is sort of just letting go of all that and just being honest and open with people. And said some people are a bit like, oh, that's a bit odd, weird. But I feel amazing, and you feel so free because there's no pretense, there's no fluff. You're just there being honest, open about everything in your life. It's an amazing feeling. As I said, it's not easy to do, and you'll catch yourself now and then sort of going back to the old ways. The important thing is that you do catch yourself and you're aware of it and you go, okay, no, let's just pull it back to reality and being honest and open and telling things how they actually are, and being authentic. And you know, it happens to me. I was, oh yeah, but the point is catching yourself doing it and then just being open. And said, we're all human, we all make mistakes, but that doesn't matter. The fact is being aware of not being this other person, this other facade, this duality, and just being you, the lovely, gorgeous you. You are super unique, and just embrace that. And that freeness you get from just being so authentic and so open is truly, truly amazing. It's like a huge weight's been lifted off your shoulders. Then there's not this chance of having this mental burnout, because you're just being you, authentic, honest, you.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy.
So in summary, just by being so simply you, authentic, honest, open, you'll have so much integrity, people will just flock to you. But more importantly, you're not going to get that mental burnout, because there's not all these things going on. It's just you're living life so simply with you just being you. And then obviously if you're dealing with other stuff, that's fine, but just simplify your life. Stop embellishing, just be honest, true, authentic with you. You be you, you do you, that's it. The real you. No. So that's it for today. I want to say a huge thank you to all of you for coming back, watching, sticking with me, and all your likes, comments and subscribing. It means a lot to me. And for now, I will say, I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so down here, and check out my other video down here. And remember, live your best life. See you next time. Bye-bye.